So your audio is muted.
Okay, now am I audible to you? Please reply. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we can
Yes,
continue.
sir.
So, okay, then it's some connection problem still continuing. So whatever it is, so electrostatic force due to continuous charge distribution. Electrostatic force due to continuous charge distribution. Okay. So continuous charge distribution doesn't mean that the charge is continuous. As you already know, the charge is discrete. Plus Q, minus Q, 3Q, 4Q, like that. Charge is discrete. It is not continuous, right? Okay. It is discrete. But what is the meaning of continuous charge distribution? Continuous charge distribution means that the charges are placed very closely. The distance between the charges, the distance between individual charges are very small, so that we can feel that it is continuous. That is the meaning of continuous charge distribution. So read this, simply read a region in which charges are closely spaced. See, a region in which charges are closely spaced is said to have a continuous charge distribution. Okay, it does not mean that the charge is continuous. Charge is actually discrete, separate. Q, 2Q, minus Q, 3Q, 5Q, plus 5 coulomb, plus, for an example, plus 6 coulomb, like that. Charge is not continuous, it is discrete. But why it is called continuous charge distribution simply means that the charges are arranged in such a way that the distance or the space between the charges, is very small, so that charges appear to be continuous. That is called continuous charge distribution. Am I clear? Am I clear? Please respond.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So continuous charge distribution may be of 3 types. This continuous charge distribution may be of 3 types. It is 1-dimensional, 2-dimensional, and 3-dimensional. The charges, I already discussed what is continuous charge distribution. Charges are actually discrete, separate, like 5 coulomb, 6 coulomb, 7 coulomb. But why it is called continuous charge distribution simply means that the charges are so closely spaced, so that the distance between the charges is very, very small. So we can call it as continuous charge distribution, since the distance between the charges is very small and the charges are very closely spaced. Therefore, it is called a continuous charge distribution. Okay, that continuous distribution of charge may be of 3 types: 1-dimensional, 2-dimensional, and 3-dimensional. It simply means that the charges can be distributed in a 1 dimension, means along a line. 1 dimension means along a line. For example, charge distributed on a wire, on a conducting wire. Charge distributed on a conducting wire is 1-dimensional. It means that charge is distributed along a single wire or single line. Okay. And see, at the bottom itself, we can see that. See, that 1-dimensional charge distribution in 1-dimensional means, example is the charge distributed along a wire, and that is called a linear charge distribution. And that is called a linear charge distribution. The charge distributed in 1-dimensional means the charge is distributed along a line, and that is called a linear charge distribution. Am I clear? Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
So next is the charge is distributed in 2-dimensional. Charge distribution in a 2-dimensional. What is a 2-dimension in mathematics means? It contains x and y, 2 axes, x and y. What does it mean? It means that it is a surface, x and, when x and y, 2 axes come into picture, see, like this, x and y, it becomes a surface. It becomes a surface. Okay, like this screen that you are viewing, it is like a surface. Okay, so charge when it is distributed on a surface, that is called a charge when it is distributed on a surface, that is called a surface charge distribution. For example, the charge distributed on a metal, any metal surface, charge distributed on any metal surface is an example for charge distribution in two-dimensional. Charge distribution two-dimensional simply means charge is distributed on a surface, because two-dimension means two coordinates or two axes. When two coordinates come into picture, x and y come into picture, it will form a surface like the screen. For example, a charge distributed on a metal surface is an example of surface charge distribution. Am I clear? Please reply. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
So next is charge distributed in three-dimensional. So what does it mean? Three-dimensional mathematics. Three-dimensional means x, y, and one more axis will come here. X axis, y axis, and z axis also. Three mutually perpendicular axes, x, y, and z will come into picture. Okay, so it becomes a space. It becomes a normally in mathematics when x, y, z come into picture, it becomes our space. Actually, we are living in a three-dimensional space, right? So charge distribution in three-dimensional. The example for that is the charge distributed on a sphere or a spherical surface, a metal sphere or a cube. You heard about cube, right? Where the three sides, all the sides are equal in length. And a cube is three-dimensional, and it also got x, y, z axis. So charge distributed on a cubical surface, or sorry, in a cube, or charge distributed in a sphere, spherical in a sphere, or a full over the sphere, charge distributed full over the sphere. An example for charge distribution of three-dimensional. So when x, y, z, three axes come into picture, it becomes volume, right? It becomes volume. It has got volume. A sphere, a metallic sphere has got volume. Because x-axis, y-axis, as well as z-axis. Okay? So it is called. So the charge distribution in a three-dimension is also called volume charge distribution. Why? Because the charge is distributed in three-dimension. Three-dimension means three axes. So they are coming to picture volume. For example, the charge distributed on a spherical surface, or a charge distributed over on a metallic sphere, or charge distributed on a full cube. Okay, both of them have three-dimension or three axes, so it has got volume. Therefore, it is called volume charge distribution. Am I clear? Please reply. Am I clear? Please reply. Am I clear? Come on. Class, am I clear?
Yes, sir.
So we can continue with first the linear charge distribution. So what is linear charge distribution? Already I told you, charge distribution in one dimension means charge distributed on in a single conducting wire, in a copper along the length of a conducting wire like copper. That is called linear charge distribution, because the charge is distributed on a single line or in a single dimension. That is called linear charge distribution. Okay, so linear charge distribution is expressed by a physical quantity called linear charge density. Linear charge distribution is expressed by a physical quantity called linear charge density, and it is denoted by the symbol lambda. Okay, so look at the PPT also. The linear charge density lambda, I already told you the example for linear charge distribution is the charge distributed along the length of a wire. Okay, so linear charge density lambda of wire is defined as charge per. If you look at the PPT of the linear charge density, lambda of wire is defined as the charge per unit length. Defined as the charge per unit length. See, linear charge, correct definition. The physical quantity associated with the linear charge distribution. The physical quantity associated with the linear charge distribution is called linear charge density. A linear charge density means the charge per unit length, or charge concentrated in unit length, means 1 meter or 1 centimeter. That is called linear charge density. Okay. So then next we have to write the equation. So if delta Q, I am telling you, delta Q is the small charge. is distributed in a small line element. Line element means because we are considering the total length of the wire and taking a small part of that total length. That is called the line element. And that line element is taken as delta L. Okay. Along the total length of the wire, if I am taking L as the total length of the wire and taking a small part of that total length of delta L, and that is called the line element. Okay. So if I am considering delta Q is a small charge distributed in a small line element delta of wire, okay, then linear charge density is given by lambda is equal to delta Q by delta L. Why? Because linear charge density is the charge per unit length. So if delta Q is the charge concentrated in delta L length, then the charge per unit length is obtained by dividing charge by length. Therefore, delta Q by delta L is the equation for linear charge density and denoted by lambda. So, linear charge density lambda is equal to delta Q by delta L. I will repeat. Linear charge distribution is the example for linear charge distribution is the charge concentrated in along a conducting wire. Okay, and the linear charge density is described using a physical quantity called, the linear charge distribution is described using a physical quantity called linear charge density. Okay, and the linear charge density is given by the charge per unit length. Linear charge density is given by charge concentrated per unit length of that wire. Okay, if delta Q is the charge concentrated in small line element delta L of the wire, I told you what is the meaning of line element. If small L is the total length of the wire, and I am considering a small part of the total length, and that is taken as delta L, and it is called line element. Okay. So if delta Q is the charge concentrated in small line element delta L, then linear charge, what is linear charge density? Linear charge density is charge per unit length. So we have to divide charge by length. Therefore, we are dividing delta Q by delta L, and which is divided by lambda, and lambda is linear charge density. So what will be the unit of linear charge density? Because it is an equation, so just got a unit, right? So here delta Q, the unit of what is the unit of charge? Coulomb, right? And what is the unit of delta L? Meter. So coulomb per meter or coulomb meter raised to -1 is the unit of linear charge density. So coulomb meter raised to -1 is the unit of linear charge density. So students, am I clear to you? Linear charge distribution and linear charge density. Am I clear to you? Please reply.
Yes, sir.
Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
So we can continue with the next heading.
Yes, sir.
Surface charge distribution. So we are continuing with the next topic. These questions can also be asked as short questions. Okay. So I told you already. Next Wednesday will be my coming class test. Please study from today onwards. That day I told you. We study continuously from the beginning up to whatever I taught till Tuesday. Will be asked, okay? So surface charge distribution, I already told you. Surface charge distribution means the charge distributed on a surface, charge distributed on a metallic surface. Is an example for surface charge distribution. And that surface charge distribution is expressed by using a physical quantity called surface charge density. Surface charge distribution is expressed by a physical quantity called surface charge density. Surface charge distribution is expressed by a physical quantity called surface charge density, and it is denoted by the symbol. See that symbol sigma is not visible there. Whatever it is, you have the hard copy with you. It is sigma. Surface charge density is written at the bottom next page. Surface charge density is denoted by the symbol sigma. Surface charge density is denoted by symbol sigma. So what is surface charge density? So surface charge density is defined as the charge per unit area. Why we are taking charge per unit area? Because here the charge is distributed on a surface, and a surface has got a surface area. Am I clear? Here the in surface charge distribution, the charge is distributed on a surface, and a surface has got a surface area. Therefore, we are defining surface charge density as the charge per unit area. Charge per unit area. Why we are defined like this? Because it is taken as a standard. It is taken as a standard. If, for example, a particular amount of charge is concentrated in this unit area, we can find out the charge in total area by symbols. summation, simple summation. That is why we are defining per unit length, per unit area. Am I clear? Okay. So surface charge density sigma is defined as charge per unit area. Surface charge density sigma is defined as charge per unit area. Unit area means either 1 meter square or 1 centimeter square. Charge concentrated in either 1 meter square or 1 centimeter square. That is called unit area. So surface charge density sigma is defined as charge per unit area. So then next we have to write the equation. If charge delta Q is distributed over an area delta S of a surface, if charge delta Q is distributed over a small area delta S, I am considering a small area delta S of a surface, then what will be the equation for surface charge density? Surface charge density sigma is equal to delta Q by delta S. Why we have written like that? Simply because surface charge density is charge per unit area. If delta Q is the charge concentrated on delta S area, then charge per unit area is obtained by dividing charge divided by area. Therefore, delta Q by delta S is the equation for surface charge density. Okay. So what will be the equation for surface charge density? Sorry, what will be the unit for surface charge density? So it can be found out from the equation itself. So from the equation, delta Q by delta S, what is the unit for charge? Coulomb, right? Again. And what is the unit of delta S? Delta S is the small surface area. So what is the unit of area? Meter square. So the unit of surface charge density sigma is coulomb per meter square or coulomb meter raised to minus 2. Okay. And surface charge density is used when charge is distributed over a surface that I already explained. Am I clear to you? Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Do I want to repeat? I will repeat one time. Okay. So the surface charge distribution, the example for surface charge distribution is that the charge is distributed on a metallic surface. And the surface charge distribution is expressed by using a physical quantity called the surface charge density. And the surface charge density is defined as the charge present in unit area. Unit area means either 1 meter square or 1 centimeter square. So if delta Q is the charge concentrated over an area delta S, then surface charge density is defined as sigma is equal to charge divided by area will give charge per unit area. Therefore, surface charge density sigma is equal to delta Q by delta S. And the unit of surface charge density is given by what? From the equation itself, the unit of coulomb is unit of charge is coulomb and the unit of area is meter square. So coulomb per meter square or coulomb meter raised to minus 2, the unit of surface charge density. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
So next is volume. The last one is volume charge distribution. Last one is volume charge distribution. So as I already told you, volume charge distribution, the example for volume charge distribution is the charge concentrated on a metallic sphere. So it becomes three-dimensional. Charge concentrated on a metallic sphere. It becomes three-dimensional and it has got a 3 axis X, Y, Z. So it becomes volume charge distribution when X, Y, Z. It means length, breadth, as well as height will come into picture. Therefore, volume came into picture. Therefore, it is called volume charge distribution. So, example for volume charge distribution is the charge concentrated on a metallic sphere or charge concentrated on a cube. Because a cube also has length, breadth, as well as height. Am I clear? And therefore, that is called volume charge distribution. See, if the charge is in the PPT also you can see, the charge is distributed continuously over a volume such as a sphere or cube. You can express the volume charge distribution, and volume charge distribution is also expressed by using a physical quantity called volume charge density, and normally volume charge density is sometimes simply called as charge density. Volume charge density is sometimes simply called as charge density also, and is denoted by the symbol rho. Okay. So next we have to write the equation for volume charge density. So what is volume charge density? Volume charge density is charge concentrated or charge per unit volume. Unit volume means either 1 meter cube or either 1 centimeter cube. Anyone we can take. Unit may change, but it should magnitude should be 1. That is called the unit volume. The unit volume means either 1 meter cube or either 1 centimeter cube. Okay. So if so again I am repeating, volume charge density is the charge concentrated per unit volume, the charge concentrated per unit volume. If delta Q, so if delta Q, then we have to write the equation. If delta Q is the charge distributed over in a small volume element, over a volume element. When we write for volume charge distribution, this statement should be like this. If delta Q is the charge distributed over a volume element delta V, because delta V means because over a volume, we will discuss over a volume element. Why? Because here the charge is concentrated on a three-dimensional surface like a metallic sphere or cube. Okay. So if delta Q is the charge distributed over a volume element delta V, then the volume charge density rho is defined as delta Q by delta V. Why? Because volume charge density is charge per unit volume. If delta Q is the charge distributed over an volume element delta V, then charge per unit volume is obtained by dividing charge by volume will give charge per unit volume. Therefore, the volume charge density rho is equal to delta Q by delta V. Okay. Okay, here I forgot to write the unit for volume charge density. So I will tell you. So what is from the equation? What is the unit for charge? This charge per volume, right? Delta Q by delta V. What is the unit for charge? Coulomb. What is the unit for volume? Meter cube. So the unit for volume charge density is coulomb per meter cube or coulomb meter raised to minus 3. Am I clear? Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
So from this, actually for this, we can write the equation for electric field also. What is the normal equation for electric field? 1 by 4 pi. What is the normal equation for electric field? Can anyone tell? I have written that actually from this for note itself it is given. What is the equation for electric field? Can anyone tell? Please. What is the equation for electric field? Come on, respond fastly.
Sir, vector E is equals to vector F upon Q.
Hey, that is simple equation. I want the full equation 1 by like that. F by Q is simple equation. From that, when we substitute F and Q, what is F? 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into Q square by R square. If both the charges are same, it is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into Q square by R square, right? Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Divided by Q. F by Q. F is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into Q square by R square. That is Coulomb's law. According to Coulomb's law, F is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into Q square by R square. Why Q square come into picture? Because normally Q1 Q2 by R square. But here I am assuming the both charges are the same magnitude. So it becomes Q into Q. So Q square by R square. That is the value of F divided by Q. 1 Q get cancelled from the numerator and denominator. So remaining will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into Q by R square. Am I clear? Am I clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So in that equation, see, look at the equation below. In that equation, we are substituting simply the value of Q. So the value of electric field is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into Q by R square. Please by heart this equation forever. I told you forever. Don't forget. Forever. 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into Q by R square. That's the equation for electric field. When I asking this equation, simple equation is E is equal to F by Q. From that, when we substitute the value of F, the equation is the equation for general equation for electric field is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into Q by R square. And here in the place of Q, see in the volume, what is volume charge density? Rho is equal to delta Q by delta V. Am I correct? So from that, when we cross multiply, what is the value of delta Q charge? Charge delta Q. When we cross multiply rho with the delta V, we will get it as rho into delta V. That becomes the charge delta Q. Therefore, here actually the charge is very, very small, delta Q. That is why I am taking the electric field as delta E instead of E. Am I clear? Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
So instead of E, I am putting delta Q because here the electric field is due to the delta Q charge, small charge. Therefore, I am taking small electric field delta E. Therefore, the equation becomes 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into delta Q by R square. And in the place of delta Q, we can substitute it as rho into delta V. Therefore, the equation becomes 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into rho delta V divided by R square. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's completed. So one of our topic is completed. We can just start the next heading also. We don't have enough time. So I think you have understood up to now. Did you understand, everyone? Anyone have any doubt? Please ask now. Otherwise, I can just start the next heading also, which is very important. Gauss's law in electrostatic. Please tell. Am I clear? Everyone, did you understand what I taught today up to this? Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Gauss's line. Next topic is Gauss's law in electrostatics. We can just start that. And there's a proof is also there. So, mind you, this is a very important topic. It has got some application also. The remaining part, it is on the, we are on the finishing part of this first chapter actually. So, we are on the finishing part of this chapter. So, once this is finished, there are one or two applications. Then it is finished forever, the first chapter, okay? So, Gauss's law in electrostatics, again, I am repeating you, mind you, it's very, very important. So, Gauss's law in electrostatics actually is a law. So, first we hear no other choice, you have to by heart the law and the statement actually, okay? So, actually, Gauss's law in electrostatics, so I told you there is a method for remembering this law. I told you, you just by heart the equation. This is the equation, simple. Here, see, actually look at the equation. Before, instead of by hearting the definition, first look at the equation and by heart that, and expand that equation, then it becomes law. That is my idea for remembering a law. Okay? Am I clear? Am I clear?
So please repeat.
We have to, instead of remembering a law, what you have to do is, there will be an equation for any law, right? Like for Newton's law, physical M into A here. This is the equation for Gauss law. I will explain each time. The idea is that you have to by heart the equation. And from that equation, while by hearting, you have to understand each of the terms of that equation. Then simply expand that equation. Each of the terms of the equation, it becomes the law. Because the equation is a representation of a law. Because F is equal to ma simply means Newton's second law. Am I clear? Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Like that, see,
Yes.
the Gauss's law in electrostatic symbol, this is the equation, this square bracket. Okay? Phi is equal to, see, close this integral. You have studied about mathematics, integration, right? Have you studied integration? Please reply. Have you studied integration? Have you heard about integral? Please reply. We don't have enough time.
Yes, sir. Only few basics about that.
Simple idea, integration, simply I will tell you. Answer and listen very carefully. I will tell you a simple idea of integration in mathematics. What does it mean? I will give you I'm not studying you in detail. I will give you the basic idea of integration in mathematics. Simple idea is that, see, normally, in order to find the total surface area or any physical quantity, if you have find out for a particular surface, I am considering a surface, and I have to find out for example, the electric flux. You have heard about electric flux, right? And I have to find out the electric flux of that total surface. So what normally, if you don't know integration, what we will do? We will simply we will divide that total surface into small area elements. We will divide that total surface into small area elements. Area element, for example, if S is the total surface, we will divide that total surface into small areas. Delta S1, delta S2, delta S3, delta S4. Understand? Then we will find out the electric flux through each of the small area, and simply we will add. Simply we will add some SUM. Okay? We will find out the electric flux through each of the small area, and we will simply add to get the total electric flux through that surface. Am I clear with this idea? Am I clear? Please tell, am I clear? We don't have enough time. The time will automatically, it will come out of this meeting. Please
Yes, sir.
Come on. Am I clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Instead of doing that, integration helps you to do the summation within a second from one end of the surface to the other end of the surface. If you do integration, it is simply gives the summation in a single step. Instead of finding out the electric flux through each individual surface area or through each small surface, what you do normally, what we will do? We will find out the electric flux through each small surface delta and take the summation. But when you apply integration, it will give you the total electric flux through the total surface in a single step. In a single step. That is the idea of integration. So it simply means summation. It simply means summation of any physical quantity over any surface or any cubical surface or three-dimensional surface or two-dimensional surface. Am I clear? Am I clear with the idea of integration?
Yes.
Similarly, here also we are doing the same. See, integration simply means summation, that's all. But the advantage of integration is that it will give the summation within a minute, within a second, within a single step. Okay? But the idea is simple summation. So whatever it is, see, look at the equation. Here, this is the Gauss's law. So here in this equation, what is phi? Electric flux. What is electric flux? I told you so many times. Electric flux is simply electric lines of force. In simple language, electric flux is electric lines of force. I told you so many times. In simple language, for remembering, electric flux is electric lines of force. But the actual definition is electric flux is the total number of electric lines of force passing perpendicular through unit area of a surface. That's it. Perfect definition. I am reminding you. I am remembering you. Okay, reminding you. Okay. So electric flux is the total number of electric lines of force. It's the total number of electric lines of force passing perpendicular through unit area of surface. So simply means that electric flux indicates the electric lines of force. So it simply means that electric flux simply indicates the electric field, man. Electric flux simply indicates the electric field because electric field is represented by using electric lines of force. Am I clear? Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So look at the equation. So that is why, so simply electric flux represents electric lines of force, or it simply indicates electric field. Simply electric flux indicates it is the total number of electric lines of force. In simple language, electric flux is the total number of electric lines of force. And electric field is actually represented by using electric lines of force. It means that electric flux is an indicate. It's a direct indication of electric field itself. It is electric field itself. Okay, we are quantifying. We are giving the amount of that electric field. That is electric flux. That's all. So look at the equation in the square bracket, in the square box. So here phi is the electric flux. P is the total electric flux. Here the phi represents the total electric flux through a closed surface. Through a closed surface. For example, a closed metallic surface. Okay, anything. So that is why the total electric flux. So in order to find the total electric flux, what we will do? I told you. Here we are integrating. See, integral symbol is there. And I have put a circle over the integral symbol. When we put a circle over the integral symbol, it is read as closed surface integral. When we put a circle over that, it is read as closed surface integral. Okay? And E is the electric field. See, E dot ds. Why have we are written like that? Because what we will do, I told you, we will find out the electric flux passing through each small area. Here the small area is taken as delta S or ds. Okay, we will find out the electric flux passing through each small area ds, and then we will take the summation. And instead of summation, we are putting the integration symbol. That is all. Since it is a closed surface, we are putting a circle over that integration symbol. Therefore, it is closed surface. So it is written closed surface integral E dot ds. This equation is actually read as total electric flux y is equal to closed surface integral vector E dot vector ds. Okay, which is equal to q by epsilon 0. And what is q? Q is the charge, right? Here q is the here q is the charge, And what is epsilon zero? What is epsilon zero? I already discussed the permittivity of free space. Permittivity of free space. So what I am doing today is I am stopping the class now because the time up. So and automatically I will quit. Even though I try to continue, automatically I will quit out of the meeting. I have to repeat again when we don't have enough time. It is 9:40, up here nearing to 9:45. Stopping the class now, and you can now log in for next subject. And don't worry, I will repeat the Gauss's line electrostatics again from Monday onwards. So Monday I will ask questions of previous topics before the exam on Wednesday. Monday I will surely ask questions. You should answer. I will call each of your names and you should answer the question. Okay? Please. So Monday, what you have to do is it is like a small exam. I will ask you 5 minutes. I will ask you questions to some of you. That time you will switch on your video and answer. If you are not answering, I will remove you. I will remove you from my class. Please be serious. Okay? Now time up. You can quit the meeting and you can log in for next subject and be ready for my questioning on Monday. Am I clear? Please reply. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Please reply. Please be ready for my questioning on Monday. Monday, when I ask a particular person, they will switch on their video for that time and then answer me. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So happy Sunday. Be relax for one day. And